Hi, I'm Sue London. I want to welcome you to I Have Cancer. This is a shared journey with Sue London. I'm Sue London, and I wanted to put this special series together to help the individual with cancer. I'm going through it now, and I'm hoping that something that I say or a tip or something will help to make this journey a lot easier for you. So I'm going to give you tips. I'm going to share my experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the stuff that makes you cry with joy and sadness and excitement, all kinds of emotions. I'm also going to be giving some information for the caregiver because that's a hard role to fill. You've got a lot of things on your plate, and it's important that you look after yourself. And also the friends and family. It's how you can help your friends or your family members. And sometimes the hardest thing is not knowing what you could do to help them. So that's where I'm going to be giving you some ideas here today. And also the pets, your pets feel all this. And I'm going to share some experiences that we've been having here at Littles. So the first thing I want to talk about is chemo versus IVs from the naturopath. Now, I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer on October the 22nd. And when on November the 5th, the oncologist did the surgery and found to their horror that it was fast spreading. It had gone through my digestive system, it was in my reproduction system, it was in my spleen, and it was in my stomach. And so they told me that they could not operate to remove it because there was just so much there. So they told me that the way how it spread, they wanted to do a blood test. I don't have those details, but they said that there is a program going on here in Ontario, Canada, where they're testing to see what causes it to spread, if it's gene related or history, because it can travel down to your children. So I'm still not hearing anything back about that yet, but when I do, if I do, I will let you know about that. Now, the chemo that I'm having, I actually go tomorrow, and that will be my second chemo. I have chemo every 3 weeks at the hospital. I go to Jervinsky Hospital in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Fantastic people. They're very professional. They understand what emotions you go through, and they're very kind and gentle and supportive on your journey. So if you have that opportunity to go to that hospital, it's a great hospital. And I'm one that don't like medical from past experiences that I've had. So for me to say this, it tells you a lot. Now, the chemo that they're doing on me, it's carboplatin, and it's Paxlodex. I'm not saying this right. Paxlodex. Let me just show you the words. These are the words. Okay. And they told me that this is the strongest chemo that they're giving me is to stop this spreading of the cancer. So that's what I have. And then, so I have that. I'll have that on the Monday, every 3 weeks. And then for the rest of the week, I come home. So the first week when I had that treatment, I went into this not wanting to have a lot of details because I'm one that if you give me too many details, I'm going to focus on that and I'm going to manifest it. And as hard as these nurses were trying to tell me, you need to know this, 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 and this, I'm like, stop. Don't plant these ideas in my head. And I had to be very firm about that because they didn't get that. And, they gave us the paperwork. And so Ross and I, what we did was we looked at it when and if the situations were coming up, which many of them did not. So I want to give you that little tip that if they start telling you a lot of stuff, just know that's not necessarily going to happen to you. It may or it may not. And I don't want you to be fixated on something that may not even happen. Now, one of the things that they gave me for pain when I had the chemo, so I had the chemo on Monday, and then on the Wednesday afternoon, evening, I started getting pain in my fingertips, in just my left hand. And that was part of this drug, these chemo drugs that they gave me, that it causes tingling. I do have a weakness now in my left hand, and I'm really working with my naturopath for what he's giving me to help so this won't be permanent. So if you have the opportunity to work with a naturopath, this is really a good thing to do. But they told me it could affect your feet and your other hands. It did not. So that was, a good thing that happened. Now I want to kind of give you the heads up because the drug they gave me was hydromorphine. It was 1 milligram. Now what happened with this was it's an opiate drug. And what happened was, I guess it was about the Wednesday that I just got, Ross helped me get out of bed. I was very weak after the chemo, around Wednesday it started. And Ross helped me get out of bed. And then I was walking like 25 feet to the bathroom and I stopped and I couldn't breathe. And so I had to remind him how to do mouth to mouth resuscitation because I literally was at that place. I could not breathe. And I called the medical doctor and also talked to my naturopath because in my mind, my naturopath is my leader of my team for my health team. Now, even though he's not doing chemo, he is one of the top naturopathic doctors for chemo. So he knows all the information, and I've known him for 30 years. So what ended up happening was he suggested, look what I was having, and then kind of go through what was causing so we could find out that it was this drug. So I got off of it, and I still was having pain, but they ended up giving me something else to take instead. And when I go tomorrow, what happens with chemo is that I have to see the oncologist the Thursday or Friday before chemo on Monday because they check my heart, they check my weight, they check to make sure my body's strong enough to have the chemo. And they weigh me as well. And I'm sure you're looking at me. If you know me, you can notice I've lost a lot of weight. My hair's falling out now. My hair started falling out actually this past Wednesday. No, I guess it was on last week. It started falling out. And it's a worst nightmare for me because my hair to me, okay, many of you are thinking she's nuts, but some of you might go, I relate to this. My hair is everything to me. I love my hair. And so I literally can just put my hand through my hair and I'm getting handfuls coming out now. And I lean over to eat and it's falling in my food. So Ross, Ray saw what was coming. Ross, my husband, he called well springs. And in our area, a bunch area, we have well springs. And it is a cancer place for people with cancer to go to get support. They do exercises, but caregiver support and so much more. And they also have wigs and they have hats and they have I don't know what they're called. It's like a hat you wear when you're bald. Okay. But it's not, but they also give me a really warm winter hat as well. And then one to sleep in. So what's happening for me tomorrow night is that after my chemo, we will go to my hairdresser and she's going to shave my head, which I thought I'd never say I'm glad it's being done, but the amount of hair that's falling out and in my food, it's just gross. So I'm doing that. And they told me that my hair would grow back after the chemo is done. So I'm probably going to look different when you see me next time. But unfortunately for the chemo that I'm having, chemo treatments, I'm losing hair. So it can grow back, they tell me, so just, I don't know how I feel about that still, honestly, that I know it's the right thing to do. And I'm probably going to cry when they shave my head. I've already said to Rosh, you have to hold my hand because for me, this is a big thing. So I promised I would be honest with you in these videos. And that's kind of one of my things I'm kind of struggling with right now, even though I know it's the right thing because heavy food, if falling into food, it's just not right. So that's around the chemo. Okay. Now I have started, so I had the chemo 3 weeks ago, and then I had 2 weeks on a Wednesday and then a Friday where I have gone to the naturopath. And so I call Dr. My naturopathic doctor, IV angel, and he's fantastic. He's absolutely great at doing the IVs. And what they're putting in the IVs are, of course, for chemo and IVs, they do blood work because they want to see where you're at with everything. And so there's high doses of vitamin C in there. There's been electrolytes. There's been magnesium, B vitamins. It's designed specifically for me. And then, if you were to go, they would have blood work, they would check stuff, and then they would make it for you, the amount you have. But for me to have the amount of vitamin C, I had to have a test, a blood test, and that would tell them how much vitamin C, the high doses amount that my body could handle. And they would not give me more until I had that blood test. So it is serious. They're doing serious work. Now, one of the things that I did find out when I did see the oncologist yesterday was she was telling me that my body, it's amazing how well it's doing. And I know it's not chemo related. I know it's the IVs that are doing that. So if you have the chance to have IVs from your naturopath, please look into that because it will, there's facts and information to prove that this makes it easier having the chemo when you have the IVs. I can't have the IVs during the week of chemo. You can't do that. You can't have them the same. I cannot have a CAT scan with all the red dye, which is coming up in January. I can't have that unless, as well as the IVs, it's just too much shock on my system. So be aware of things like this. If they say, oh yeah, it's good to do, it's not good to do. So get yourself another naturopath. And in fact, my naturopath, Dr. Payam Kiani, is phenomenal. And he does calls through Zoom, and then he can help get you connected to your naturopath in your area to go for your IVs. Well worth it. It's not cheap. I think I'm paying like $200, 200 plus now because I'm into a large bag of the IV. Each time I go, we sold my car, actually, my Acura car. We sold that to cover these costs because they also say this will give you more lifespan by doing this. So to me, car is just a material item. And, this is really making such a positive difference for me having these IVs. And what's crazy with the IVs is that I crave different food every time I go. And so the one time what happened was I was craving a milkshake. Then I was craving egg salad sandwich. And so everybody was calling around trying to just find an egg salad sandwich for me because we were not near home. So we were staying at a hotel. And so everyone was calling around and we found an egg salad sandwich for me. Some things that you think you want to get homemade, our world is now such fast food orientated and chemicals and milkshakes that it's really hard to find that stuff. But that's what happens to me. I crave, the first time I had the IV, I was craving salads, beet and goat cheese salad. Then it was egg salad sandwich. So it's just crazy what I'm experiencing with that. Now, to give you more around the chemo and the IVs was that I visualize when I have both. So here's what happens to me, and I hope this can help you along your journey. You want to visualize anytime you have a test or anytime you're having the chemo or the IVs, visualize the outcome, what you want. So for me, I visualize that Mother Mary is standing and she's working the little knob that puts the chemo into my body. And what was interesting when I had her do that was that all of a sudden the nurse was saying, well, we have to do this and we have to do that. And I said, I don't need that. I don't understand that. So a situation came up that they were about to give me something that I wasn't even needing. And I don't want extra chemicals and drugs in my body if it's not necessary. So Mother Mary created this situation to make it so I didn't need to have that. So when you visualize, you call in on your angels, you call in on your loved ones, your pets on the other side, and they literally will be there to work the magic for you. So I will share in an upcoming video. A friend of mine channeled Mother Mary for me and Jesuit, and Mother Mary said she was in charge of my healing, and that I just had to ask and listen and follow her guidance. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So if I get a thought, I share it with the nurse, and then things happen, and then it just changes. But what happened when I visualized Mother Mary was turning on the tap and giving me the amount that I needed, so I didn't get too much. That's where she was in charge. Yeah, sure, there was a nurse there doing it, but ultimately it was Mother Mary doing it. Okay, so stay with me with this, okay, for you non-believers. Trust me, okay? So what happened was I had that, and so as I visualized, she turned the tap on. I was visualizing that what was coming into my body was beautiful, warm energy from the sun, because I love the sun. The sun is so healing for us. It's energizing. It can do so much for us. So I visualized that the tap's on, and then my body's just filling with all this sunshine and beautiful love in that and healing. And then I visualized that there were all these little angel workers, that they were inside of my whole abdominal cavity. They were sweeping up all the bad cells. And then this massive, big factory vacuum was sucking all the cancer out of me. And I just felt lighter, and it was just wonderful. So that's what I did with that process. And I'll be doing that same thing again tomorrow. Now, when I had the IVs, it was funny because I thought maybe I need to do the same thing. But the IVs I'm getting, they're natural for us. So I knew I didn't have to visualize, Mother Mary working that. But I visualized, I'm thinking now, I don't think I visualized anybody turning the tap, because I have so much trust for my naturopath that's doing it. Roshan is his name, and he's phenomenal. Absolutely an archangel beyond, great guy. And so I really have a great respect, and it's like that friendship that, you've been together forever. That's what I feel for this guy. He's just really great. So I trust him, where medical didn't have that love and trust for him, because I've had a lot of experiences that went wrong. So anyways, I'm talking so much here today because I'm trying to make up for these 3 weeks. But anyways, what happened, I just automatically, like when the IV started, I just started seeing inside of me these character sunflowers. It was crazy. Like, such a difference from chemo to this. And I was visualizing that my whole abdominal cavity was filled with these cartoon big sunflowers, and the sunflowers had all these big smile, happy faces on them. And I don't know where it came from, but that's what I kept seeing. And then they would show me a food that, I should be eating for that day or the next couple of days. And as soon as I would get it and eat it, I was fine. And then I would get something else that I have to eat. So that's kind of what you can do when you're having, your treatments, that add that in there. And it helps you to become more empowered with your own healing. So visualize whatever you feel is right for you. Okay, that's really, really important. So I've got notes to keep on track. I'm doing real well here, right? Okay, so that's about the chemo and the IV. I wanted to address the caregivers again, because I know a lot of caregivers, they don't stop and take a break. And I will be honest and tell you that my husband, Ross, is really, in his way of dealing with stress, he's puttering a lot, and it's driving me nuts. And I'll say, just relax. Like, no need to have that done. That's not important. And he feels like he's in go mode all the time. So when I'm seeing him do that, that's where I will say, I just go to the gym, just go for a walk, just do whatever you have to do. And so he's doing that. Now he's finding it hard because this is the Christmas season, and there's luncheons that are coming up that he would like to have been a part of, but because this is chemo week, that and chemo week has not been best for me last month. But you know what? It could change now because I have the IV. So I'm not putting out any attentions around this. But your caregiver that's helping you is what I want to say is not having their life is affected as well by helping you. So the advice that Ross said for me to share with everyone is, as somebody who has cancer, be kind to your caregiver and know they are going through a lot. They are trying to be there for you, that they're trying to look after your home, your meals, every single thing. And they do feel cold a lot. That was a big thing that Ross was sharing with me to share with you all as well. So, don't be shy to ask someone to help you. If you find that you just can't handle the day, or if you find that, you're not feeling good, reach out to someone for help. Okay. It's really important to do that. Okay. Now I've had people say to me, I'm a friend or I'm a family member and I don't know how to help this individual that I know that has cancer. What can I do? So what you can do is pick up groceries for them. Everyone needs groceries. Everyone needs food. Just ask them, what can I pick up for you? And, I've done that. If friends or family are offering to pick something out for me, I tell them. And, they bring it, I pay them for it. A lot of times they won't take the money for it. In Canada, we do e-transfers where we send the money right away to them, so they're not out of pocket in the grocery store. Just know that that's what you can do. Okay. So, as a friend or family member, pick up groceries, or you can even cook a meal. I know for Ross, that's really hard. I've been finding he's buying a lot of stuff that's quick, put in the oven. We've been eating halibut fish. I don't like fish normally, but I've been craving it. But it's got to be halibut, so I don't smell it like fish, and it's got to be coated. It's got to have the batter on it. And so we've been eating that and a lot of other stuff that's been kind of shoved in the oven and kind of stuff like that. So if you cooked a homemade meal, that would be so great to have. I know for me that a friend of mine, Kim, I was having a crazy, crazy craving for homemade peanut butter cookies, no nuts, no chocolate, just old-fashioned peanut butter cookies. And Kim said, was there anything I can do for you? Yes. Can you please make me some peanut butter cookies? And she did. And it was like giving me $1 million. It was phenomenal. So, think of something that you want to have and ask. Okay. Whether you're the caregiver or you are the individual with cancer. Okay. And another thing that was big for me was from July until a week ago. So a week ago was November 3rd, something like that. No, I'm not doing my math right. December 8th. I could not wear a bra because all the cancer was up high on my ribs and I had a lot of swelling. And a friend of mine, Rochelle, my gosh, she's my hero, beyond two. She got me a sports bra. And then she got me, this is one of my new tops. She got me because I've really lost a lot of weight. And I've gone from an extra large to almost a small now. And that's just in 2.5 months now. So she came over with these clothes. She picked out, and she's a manager of a Melanie Lynn clothing store. And I always have her dress me for events and stuff like that. And she always knows what's right for me. And so she came over with these clothes and this sports bra, and I cried. It had such an impact on me that it was like, by not having a bra, I didn't have freedom because I had this disease and I couldn't do stuff. My legs are very shaky, so I don't trust myself driving. So I was having a week last week where I was missing out on stuff, and it was emotionally really hard on me. Last week, I was actually supposed to be in Nashville receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I felt it was very hard for me not being there because that was huge for me. I did receive the award, but still that was pretty big for me to miss. And it really affected me in the way of emotionally. And then because I was emotionally upset, my stomach started bothering me. And it was like a domino effect going downhill. So, when friends reach out and then they do something special for you and know that they may not know what you need. So you got to speak up. And you know what? Your friends and family will be so grateful that you would allow them to help you. That's huge. Another thing, what happened was that we were in our Acura dealership where we buy our vehicles, and we had our SUV getting some stuff done. And when I walked in, my body got very, very weak because that was just after, it was about a week and a half after the chemo, which really, and the reaction with these drugs. And I thought I was going to faint. And the service manager came out, Kylie, and I just said to her, can I please lean on you and can you help me get to a chair? Because I just can't do it. And she said to me, she was so grateful that I reached out because she just didn't know what she could do for me. She felt so upset seeing me the way that I was. And she said she was really grateful that she could help me in that way. So that is where, with someone with cancer, reach out. I know for me in stores, they have got these heavy doors and I can't open a store door now. And so I'm finding that when Ross and I go out, we're tending now to go to stores that have those big buttons that say push me, and then they open automatically for you, because that's the only way I could get into buildings if I was by myself. So thank you to anyone who is running a business with those little push the button, the door will open, because your places are the only places of business I can get into right now, unless Ross is there with me, which most of the time he is. To 90%, but still, I think of people in wheelchairs and other challenges that they're facing, and they're by themselves. And those are some things for people who have businesses to consider. How can you help people come into your place of employment or place of business? Okay. Now, another thing that happened to me, as I was saying about having the IVs and craving stuff, I craved milkshakes. I was craving a strawberry milkshake with no chemicals, the old-fashioned milkshake. Now, if you're my age, I'm 62, and I remember you could go in and you could get, you could go to a restaurant, they had this machine that you put this metal cup up to, and it would blend the ice cream and the milk, and it would just be the really great milkshake. Well, you can't get them too easily now. Everything is chemical. Dumping a bag in like a cooler area like McDonald's does, full of chemicals. I just really needed to have a milkshake. I'm away from home. I was away for 6 days last week. We just got back last night, and we're leaving again tomorrow because of the chemo. And so to find home cooking, it's really, really hard. So what happened, we were staying at the Homewood Suites from Hilton. And that's where we always stay because we can cook our meals in there too. Or take, there's a kitchen and that. And so the front desk clerk, he called around and found that Denny's restaurant makes milkshakes with just either vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream, or strawberry ice cream, and milk. That was it. And I watched them make it. They even said if I wanted to come in the kitchen and watch, that's what they do. So that's where we went. And I think the guy, by the way, how I look, maybe it's because I'm so skinny, I don't know what it is, but he knew that there was something not right with my house. And he said to me, like, I'm not charging you for this milkshake because I had a friend that went through cancer and I know what his experience was. So this is my way of paying it forward to help. I want to help you. And I started to cry because I just thought it was so nice and caring that this guy would acknowledge that it was a challenge, but he was just doing everything to go out of his way for me. And I was very, very grateful. And then another thing that happened was I going to tell you? Oh my gosh, I'm just reading notes right now. Oh my gosh, I've already told you about that. See, I'm reading notes. I think I have cancer fog, I think they call it, where you can't remember stuff. I think I'm telling you things here where it wasn't. Anyways, that's the stuff on that where people were just helpful and reaching out. So, whether you're the caregiver or whether you are the person with cancer, you ask, people want to help you. Okay. Now I want to talk to you about your pets because one of the things that happened for us, my dog Marley is my little shadow. He's actually on the floor right beside me. And he doesn't leave my side. No matter how hard I try, we can't separate him from me because he knows exactly what I'm experiencing. Now, it's great for me, but what happens with your pet is whatever you're going through, they absorb that. And so when I was having a reaction to that drug where I couldn't breathe, the couple days later, he had absorbed all of this energy, and we made sure that I wasn't holding him or touching him, and he just stood up and he fell over. And so what Ross had to do was clear his energy. And basically, you don't have to be someone who is a healer. If you know a healer, great, get them to help you. Basically, what you do is you start at the top of their head, and then you just kind of, just above, you're kind of brushing the energy down their neck, down their spine, down their tail, and then you flick it into the ground. Don't flick it on you. Don't flick it on them. Don't flick it on anybody else that is around there or another pet, because you take the energy from the pets and absorb your energy. So you'd be taking that energy, putting it back on the pet or on you or on another pet or person. So you flick it in the ground. Then you can start at the top of the head, go down the ears, go down the legs, okay, down there, flick it in the ground, same way. Then start at the top of the head, go all the way down the spine and go down the back legs and clear the energy that way too. And so if you have had chemo, you do not do that. Okay, I do not touch my cats for 2 days. Even through my membership, I actually have someone who is helping me for those couple days when I can't do it. And I did have a friend who happened to be over that was a healer, and she did additional clearing on Marley as well. Now, for our other dog, Buddy, what's interesting with him, he's decided that his job is that when I come out of a shower, for a long time, I couldn't bend over because I'd had this surgery November the 5th, and I'm still not allowed to lift anything more than 5 pounds. And as a result, so Buddy takes the role. He comes and he licks the bottom half of my legs until they're dry, which is great because that's how it's getting done. And he just takes that job on. And every time I have had an IV through chemo or the IVs from the doctor, he always wants to sniff and lick the area where the IV went in. So those are interesting, just for you to know that your pet does know what you're going through. And, but they also will absorb your energy. So, getting them out, if you got, if it's a loved one that lives with you, get them outside for a walk, get them out in nature, because that will help them to clear that as well. Okay. Playing relaxing music, 432 frequency, okay. Burning candles, all of these things will help your pet, because your pet, believe it or not, is going right through this with you. Now, for me, Marley comes into the naturopath's office with me, and he's right beside me on my knee. He just does not want to leave me. And then in there, it's not chemo. It's not the heavy drugs. It's a different environment. So he's good coming in there with me. And I don't have to clear him after that. So, so that's just to know about your pets. Now, I wanted to end this with a text. Now, I have a dear friend. His name is Lucas Klein. And we met him when we were buying our very first Acura car years ago. And he was the one that reached out the day that I was diagnosed and said, I just got this feeling that I had to connect with you and check in. How are you guys doing? And literally, he was the first phone call that we received after being told I had cancer. And we both were really crying, very emotional. And he's such a great guy, very supportive, really great guy, friend. If there's anyone that you can say that they're there for you, it's Lucas. And I said to him, that I just need like positive stuff said to me. I just need like, good stories and stuff like that. And then he himself had gone through cancer and been at the same hospital many years ago. So I want to share this, what he says to me, because I said to him that I just need like, you send such great texts and it's really like touching what you share. So I want to end this segment with that. Hi, Sue. It was very emotional seeing you, but it was really great seeing you at the same time, of course. Your courage and positivity was evident and amazing to see. Now, this is where I said, send me a story. Okay? There is a story about a boy and a horse lost in the woods. The boy says to the horse, I can't see a way out of here. The horse says, can you see your next step in front of you? The boy says, yes, of course I can. So the horse says, just take that next step then. A lot of the time we worry about the goal, the journey, the mountain ahead, instead of that simple next step. Each next step will lead you closer to the end goal over that mountain. Tackle each step one at a time. Enjoy small victories along the way. Nothing is impossible. Believe that it can and that it will be so. I don't pretend to have the right answers, but I do know how important our mind is and how important it is to keep that positive and sharp when fighting a battle like you have in front of you. We are all thinking about you during this difficult time and sending you our prayers your way, one step at a time. And I want to share with you, just take one step at a time, one day at a time. At nighttime, Ross and I have started a ritual now. We say, what was the best part of our day? Was this a good day? What could we have done differently? So, I want to encourage you to think about these things I've shared. And I hope that something that I've said today will help you along your journey, no matter what level that your title that you have in this space. So on that note, I'm Sue London, and I truly want to wish you much love and many, many blessings. Until next time.